When my nephew Will turned 4, his one birthday request was that he wanted to see dinosaurs. Not toy dinosaurs or fossils of dinosaurs, but dinosaurs. And not just one or a few dinosaurs. Lots and lots of them, because even at 4, Will knew them all. Not just the popular T-Rex and Triceratops, but the Carnotaurus and the Pachycephalosaurus, the Maiasaura and the Quetzalcoatlus. See, it tripped me up. I tried. Will wanted to see all of these. He had no problem with the pronunciations. And now we know that moms are magic makers, and my sister-in-law certainly is. She was somehow going to find dinosaurs for her son's birthday. Thankfully, her search did not necessitate finding a John Hammond who had invested in the research of prehistoric DNA and opened a Jurassic Park on a remote tropical island, though she would have gone to those lengths. My sister-in-law quickly discovered that there was going to be an animatronic dinosaur experience at the Nashville Zoo right at the time of Will's birthday. Dinosaurs. Not toys, not fossils, lots and lots of dinosaurs. So the whole family, aunts, uncles, and cousins included, purchased tickets to the zoo and to the dino experience. And we decided to leave the dinosaurs for the very end of the day, to get in all of our zoo walking and animal sightings before the big and anticipated moment. And the moment did not disappoint. Will experienced those dinosaurs from the very tip of his head to the end of his toes. He was overjoyed and filled with such wonder. These incredible creatures that he'd read about and studied, that he'd played with and built, he knew if they were herbivores or carnivores, if they were attentive mothers or fierce hunters. And here they all were. And Will ran from dino to dino, calling out to the rest of us, "Parasaurolophus, it's a Parasaurolophus. Look at the feathers on the Utah raptor. Do you see the feathers? See, they had feathers, just like the birds today." Astounded and amazed, lost in the wonder of it all. And it was such a beautiful thing to witness in Will. He brought all of us into that place of wonder with him. And I'm sure we can all think of times when we've experienced something similar, when we ourselves have been awe-inspired, or when we have witnessed it in another, amazed and astounded. We hear these words in our gospel lesson today, that the people were astounded at Jesus' teaching and that they were amazed at his power over the unclean spirit. And maybe we're surprised to still be hearing words like this, like amazed and astounded, 4 weeks after the Epiphany and just over a month since Christmas. Can our amazement be any greater than when we hear with the shepherds that God, yes, really God, has taken on human flesh and chosen to come be with us? At Christmas, the true light comes into the world, and we celebrate the wonder of this news for a full 12 days. And then we arrive at the Epiphany, and we hear that God coming to be with us means all of us. Not only the shepherds on the hills closest to Bethlehem, but also the Magi from the east. And our wonder is magnified. We begin to grasp something of the brightness of the light that is God with us. And then we journey through this season that we're in now, that we call the season after the Epiphany, but it is not an afterthought of a season. These Sundays are not just a placeholder between Christmas and Lent. This is a season of dwelling in the light, a season of revelation about who Jesus is. And the more we dwell in the light, the more amazed we become. Christmas is only the beginning of the brightness. The author of Mark's gospel believes this so deeply, believes that Christmas is only the beginning, that the author does not even include the story of Christmas in the gospel. Mark takes the story of Jesus' birth as a given. Let's get on with it, Mark says. The light has come into the world. Now, what does that mean? What does that look like? How do we experience it? And today, Mark tells us that the light, that the truth of God with us, sounds like teaching with authority. Jesus is in the synagogue on the Sabbath, and he is not only teaching the Holy Scriptures, he seems to somehow be the Holy Scriptures, to be fully embodying something new. Jesus does not need to reference other scribes or rabbis because Jesus holds all wisdom. His very presence is the lesson. His words are merely the exclamation points. Jesus is the be-all and end-all, and the people are astounded. And maybe that would be enough for today. An adequate movement of the dimmer switch revealing Jesus' ever-growing brightness. That Jesus is one who teaches with authority, who embodies a new teaching. But this is the Gospel of Mark. And Mark loves miracles. There are more miracles in the first chapter of Mark than there are in the entire Gospel of John. This is one of Mark's favorite storytelling things, the miracles. And we're already 20 verses into the first chapter, so it's about time for one. And so into this synagogue scene enters the man with an unclean spirit. And we learn that even the darkness knows the light of Jesus. The Spirit calls Jesus by name and recognizes Jesus' power, because the darkness has known the authority of the light since the very beginning. Since the first spark of creation, let there be light. In the synagogue on the Sabbath, with his presence and authority and his ever-shining light, Jesus already has darkness on the run. But darkness is stubborn. And so darkness makes one last feeble play at power. I know your name, Jesus. I see your light. What are you going to do now? Destroy us? And it's almost less a question than it is a resignation. Because the darkness knows that one word from Jesus will conquer all powers and principalities. And so the light speaks. Jesus says to the darkness, "Be silent and come out of him." Later in Mark's gospel, Jesus will use these same words to rebuke and calm the storm. In that story, we hear these words as "Peace, be still." Be silent and come out of him. Peace, be still. And with that word spoken, the darkness is dispelled. And peace reigns. And the people are amazed. Because this is it. This is what it means. This is what it looks like. This is the experience of the light coming into the world. In one phrase, a new creation is begun. Be silent and come out of him. Peace, be still. The light has come into the world, and darkness is on the run. Be amazed. Be astonished by the power of it all. There are even greater wonders to come.